Yeah, what's up guys? Welcome back to the video. Today I'm talking about basically my life over the past 10 years. So if you have literally no care at all to know what I did for the last 10 years, then probably not the best video for you. But I basically just turned 30 a few days ago. 30th birthday just happened, and I feel like it's like a whole entire new chapter in my life. When I was 20 years old, I had just gotten my first personal training license. I wanted to be a personal trainer. I had also been performing in stunt shows for about 2 years, and I was a professional scooter rider. That was like my main source of income, was basically making videos for the Razor channel and like competing and going to competitions all over the world. And like, damn, my life has changed so much. Like, when I was 20 years old, I had just started traveling the world all the time, and my main thing was doing scooter competitions. I'd probably traveled to, I think I traveled to 11 different countries, and I competed or performed in 10 different countries over the past decade. So when I was 20 years old, went to Dubai for my first time. Dubai was an epic experience. I went all kinds of different places: Dubai, Panama, Switzerland, Germany, France, Australia, and like, it's just so many other places. And it's just been like a crazy ride when I look back on the last 10 years and like how my life has changed. Like, my main focus is now completely into my business and like setting myself up for my future, and it's more like money oriented now, because I like, the last thing I want to do is like be uncomfortable when I'm like 60 years old and not have like a kind of like a fallback plan, you know? So like, now I'm mainly focused on like my footwear company and getting like a job that, not a job, but like having something that I can do to make money that I actually really enjoy doing. And like, I mean, being in a stunt show, having my own stunt show now, a footwear company, and this YouTube channel, they are all things that I absolutely love doing, and I'm so grateful that I like started to form these kind of businesses back when I was like 25 years old or so. So let's see, when I was 20 years old, let's go through a little quick timeline. So when I was 20 years old, I had just gotten onto Razor a couple years before that, so very active. When I was 21 years old was the year that I was on America's Got Talent. So in 2012, right before I turned 22 years old, we did America's Got Talent for a group called All Wheel Sports. Super epic experience. Like, I'm so grateful that I got to do that. It was very fun. We made it all the way to the top 10 into the semifinals. We were in Extreme Sports Act and like gymnastics and all that good stuff, but super crazy experience. Got to meet like all of the judges and like Sharon Osbourne and Howie Mandel and Howard Stern. It was a really fun experience though. Then as I think when I was about 22 or 23 years old, I started working for a company called Razor, the big scooter company. From there, I worked in the sales department. I really hated it. Like, I absolutely hated working in sales, because literally all I would do all day long was call people and try to sell them stuff. So like, thank God that didn't last too long. It lasted about like 6 months, and then I eventually moved into the marketing department. And I just think marketing is way more fun, and it's way more up my alley, because you can be creative and like, excuse me, I think marketing is like, I don't know, marketing is super fun because you get to be creative, and it's like, how creative can you possibly be? Like, what can I do to make like this product stand out amongst other ones? And that, like, once I got into marketing, I felt like, ooh, I really kind of want to be into the business game. Like, I want to have my own business and that kind of stuff. But I did work for Razor while I was still competing and performing in shows for a few years. Every single year, I would literally take off from my job at Razor, which was in California, and I would go perform in Ohio at Cedar Point in a stunt show called All Wheels Extreme. Performed in that show for 8 years. I did 3 different theme parks, but it was mostly all at Cedar Point. I also did Valley Fair in Minnesota and Knott's Berry Farm in California. So I spent a good majority of my time in Ohio, like basically living at an amusement park. Super fun time though. Like, I don't think there gets to be a better job than performing in a show with like thousands of people watching you. Super adrenaline rush. It's like never a dull time. But yeah, so I'm now mostly like getting into like more business stuff. I don't want to be performing too much, just because I notice all the tolls that it's taken on my body, and my body feels like I'm like 50 years old, even though I just barely turned 30 years old. Like, all my joint stuff, and yeah, I don't know, it's just too much impacts over and over. But eventually, when I was 25 or 26, I quit my job at Razor and I started my own social media business. So when I was working at Razor, I went from sales to the marketing department as the team manager of the sports team, and then I moved to social media. This was when social media first came out, and I read Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, and like that book changed my outlook on social media completely, and I ended up getting hired as the social media manager for Razor, where this was when Instagram first came out, like 2014 or something like that. And I mean, like, marketing wasn't too much, like you didn't have to pay for ads, and like there was none of that stuff back in the day, 2014 or so, on Facebook. So what I did was I created a bunch of viral videos that ended up taking the page from, like, I think we had like 8,000 followers up to like 110,000 followers real quick, and became the social media manager. And they were like, oh yeah, we should definitely have you run all the social media pages. So I ended up working for Razor for like 3 years, and then quit to start my own social media business, where in turn, after I quit Razor, they came back to me 6 months later and asked me to basically do what I was doing working for them, but I did it all from home. And then I gained a few other clients, not big clients, but Razor paid me honestly way too much money to be running their social media, and I was able to save up quite a bit of money. But after a year of doing that, they kind of realized that they were paying me too much money, and that they found more value in paying people to like advertise on their YouTube channels. And I was like, maybe I need to make a YouTube channel. And that's what I did. After I lost my contract with Razor, ended up starting my own YouTube channel, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be an extreme sports vlogger. So if you guys look back, I literally made a vlog every single day for an entire year, and it is all like extreme sports and tramp ball and all that good stuff. But after I like did it for about a year, I didn't make a single dollar, which is funny because now I make pretty good money off of doing like Postmates and DoorDash tutorials and that kind of stuff on YouTube. So after, I think like probably like 2 years of trying YouTube, I kind of gave up. It just was not happening. Made a random Postmates tutorial, which ended up blowing up and started paying me a couple $100 a month. And I was like, wow, Postmates videos is where it's at. It was like the last thing I would have ever expected to like start getting traction, especially with all the effort that I used. Like, all my videos were pretty cinematic before, and like I put a lot of effort into those videos, and they just never gained traction. But continued to perform in shows, and when I was also 26, I quit working for All Wheels, and I basically started my own stunt show. I took out a gigantic loan, bought a trampoline wall setup and all the stage lighting, all that good stuff, and had my own show. I was fortunate enough to get found by Nickelodeon, who wanted me to put on an act at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Sports Awards. And so that was like what really like allowed me to create my own show and business as a performer. So, I mean, that was a really exciting time for me. Once I had the footage from the act of the Kids' Choice Sports Awards, I sold it to a bunch of different, well, I tried to sell it to a bunch of the different like theme parks and like all, like pretty much anywhere that would put on a stunt show. I literally called everyone, and one place hired me, and it was called Land of Illusion. And once they hired me for the show, I was like, okay, gotta get this trampoline wall. And I had like about a week to literally get I think I had probably like $4,000 still saved up from the social media stuff. And like I drained through so much money trying to be a YouTuber, because I spent basically an entire year YouTubing full-time, not making any money, blowing through all of my savings. And then with probably around like $4,000 to $5,000 left, I got the stunt show gig, and I still needed another like, I think $7 or $8 grand in the form of a business loan or personal loan. And then I started my own stunt show. After like performing the stunt show for a little bit, I was like, man, what I really want to do is like what I was doing for Razor, and that is like marketing products and like launching a brand, basically. Because when I worked for Razor, there was like little sub brands. One was called Phase 2, and that was like the high-end scooters and stuff. So I literally learned all of the like ins and outs of basically starting a business, fortunately with other people's money. Like Razor is a billion-dollar corporation, and I was able to use their money to basically learn how to run a business, which was, I am so grateful for that opportunity, because for me, as someone who dropped out of college, I dropped out of college when I was like 18, 19 years old, as soon as I found out that I could make money off of going to the skate park, I was like, I am totally dropping out. And I got an opportunity to go to Australia, dropped out of college at 18 or 19 years old, and here I am now. So after doing the stunt show for about a year, started my own footwear company. I asked my old friend Harley, who also worked with me at Razor, to basically like split a business with me, so we both own Off Axis. And like so far it's been quite the learning experience, like basically designing a product, getting it built, sending all of our money to China, which is a terrifying experience. If you guys like, it's, I don't know, when we first did it, we were sending, I think, around like $16,000, $20,000 over to a manufacturer in China, and that is a terrifying experience because you don't, like, what if you don't get it back or something, you know? So after that happened, I basically for the last 2 years have been like kind of like going, I'm not sure if I want to have a footwear company. Like, it's been up and down, and like sales come in and they come out. Like, footwear is such a hard business to be in compared to like a stunt show, which my show was profitable within the first year of business. The shoes, on the other hand, is way more like a long-term game. It's going to take quite a while for enough people to like see our footwear company. But basically, that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. When I was 27, after I started the show, I went back to, well, I was going to go back to LA, and I realized I could not find a place to live where I'd be able to set up my stage in the backyard and have people come over and perform, because California is just really strict on their laws. And like to be able to afford that amount of space, it would have broken my budget so bad. Probably like $3,000 a month for something that I like, that had a decent enough backyard to set up a stage in. So I ended up moving to Las Vegas, which is something I would have, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, I would have said no way would I ever move to Las Vegas. And it has been like super nice ever since I moved here. But the last 3 years is pretty much for me. I realized on my, I believe it was my 28th birthday, I was like, man, I really got to start like hustling and like work now. That way when I'm older, I really don't need to work as much. So I've been literally, for the last 2 years, I've just been hustling my butt off, trying to live the entrepreneur lifestyle and not get a job. Like, my main thing is I don't want to work for anyone else. I just really hate when someone has power over you. And the fact that I've literally only made my money by myself for the last 2 years is kind of rewarding, and like it's really now starting to pay off, and I'm actually starting to see results. Especially like my footwear company is really starting to gain traction now, I believe, and we have the new product, the Ninjas, coming out, which is like a pretty big deal for us. Like, it's a nice shoe. It was tested and improved, like tested for like 2 years, so it's a good shoe. If you guys haven't yet, please go check out our footwear company. It's Off Axis Acrobatics, and use my discount code OFFAXISTANNER, all one word, and you'll save 30% off. But yeah, so here I am now, 30 years old, and I don't feel older or anything. I just feel like, I do feel a little bit like I need to be a little bit more mature and like act more appropriately all the time, because I'm 30 years old now, which is pretty, like, when I was 20, I was like, damn, 30 is so old, and I feel really young still. Like, I feel like I'm healthier than I've ever been before, like, minus all the like prior injuries and like my bones aching and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's nice, and I'm super grateful for where I am, and like for like people who watch my videos, and like I just am grateful for the like life that I've created in my 20s. It's been quite the experience, and like I would not really change a single thing. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it at all, give this video a like. I really appreciate anyone who supports my channel. Comments down below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to respond. And if you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.